coffee at Hotel Majestic. Do you know why I wanted to meet you here? Jane's voice sounds a little bit strange, perhaps because she speaks slowly in an old Saigon accent. Jane sits in front of me. She looks to the side, toward the Saigon River, without waiting for my answer. She wears a simple white dress. Her hair falls into her shoulders. A delicate smell of an expensive fragrance, perhaps sandalwood, radiates in the air. I follow her eyes. In a way, I want to meet her, to listen to her stories, but not to answer her questions. On the horizon, 5 skyscrapers mark a new landscape on the other side of Saigon River. The sun is high. It's early afternoon. There's almost no clouds in the sky. The water in the river is a reddish-brown, slowly flowing down towards the sea. Strange, I never noticed this color when I go to the bank to cool myself off. On the left is Basin Shipyard. A large tonnage ship exposes its half-painted, half-rusty body under the sun. I find its natural scenery of the river and the immense scale of the somewhat battered shipyard so intriguing. Suddenly, my thoughts are about huge amounts of money that lay in this land next to the city center, still waiting to be exploited. I got a call from Ching last night. She said a friend let her know I wanted to meet her, and that the next day she would leave Saigon. Will you remember Hotel Majestic, 5th floor? She said on the telephone. The Pearl of Saigon, Hotel Majestic, was built in 1925 in Art Deco style. It is situated at the corner of Dong Khơi and Tôn Đức Thắng, near the Saigon River. One old name, 2 new. One word in a foreign language, 2 in Vietnamese. Dong Khơi, under the French, was called Rue Catinat, a very French street. A writer who has been living in Saigon since 1954 told me. This was also the most beautiful street in Saigon under the French. Not too wide, with only 2 bands, but packed with many beautiful French-style buildings, shops, cinemas, famous cafes and restaurants. This was the place where the intellectuals, writers, journalists, tourists and wealthy elite of the city met. His words remind me that not only Hanoi is very French, Saigon is even more French. Indeed, the South was a French colony, while the North was only considered protected territory. They are destroying our world. Jane's words call me back from the reflection filled with words in French and English, words that still echo up somewhere in the sounds of the ferries' engines, ship sirens, car horns, or stand on top of gorgeous high buildings that dominate the city. She takes a sip of coffee. Her face did not show any emotion at all. From small speakers mounted around the coffee shop comes the voice of Lady Gaga. Just then, it's gonna be okay. How desperate people must be when their own world is slowly disappearing. How long they must be in this hopeless situation that they can talk about it so calmly. Jane's family came to Saigon in the early years of the 20th century. Like many other Southern people, they built their fortune from zero. Then they sent their children to French schools. Many young people went to France to study. They later became doctors, engineers, journalists, interpreters, lawyers, scholars, professors, the intellectual elite of Saigon. Some changed their citizenship and received French nationality and stayed in France, like Jane's grandparents. But she also had relatives who came back to South Vietnam until the war ended in 1975. But we're still around, Jane said, as though she knew my thoughts. The new Saigon's financial oligarch erects their monuments in concrete and glass in the place of old bookstores, cafes, theaters, the last witnesses, to the existence of the elite of the past.